Hello viewers, welcome to my Doctor Who themed YouTube channel, Who Ventures. And before we start, I would like to announce that I only decided this yesterday, so it's not going to be like full colour artworks, but I'm doing a Danvanista Advent calendar. So it'll be a sketch each day of my favourite cuddles. So it should be appropriate for everyone. So that will be on my Twitter and my Instagram, and then when I get chance after Christmas, I'll put all of them up on a video on this Who Ventures channel. So as I'm filming this review on December the 1st, I'll give you a look at day 1, which is here. So, and then you can see all the rest on my Twitter and Instagram, and eventually on this channel. So now onto the review of Survivors of the Flux, Series 13, Episode 5. To start with, I think this is my favourite episode of Flux so far. Although I do still really like Episode 1 because Dan bonds with Danvanista while he gives him a boop. And I think that's going to be up there with my favourite moments of Flux. So yeah. So I thought this episode, I was quite frustrated that we had this Yaz, Dan and Jericho on their adventures, and we could only had to be in for a tiny fraction of their adventuring, and we just had to skip loads of it. It's so frustrating because I could watch a whole 2 or 3 series of that, and I'm hoping because this is one of my favourite book series right now, I'm hoping that when they do a novelisation, that we get about 10 of this size of book to cover everything in Flux, because there's so much crammed into just a few episodes that it's frustrating, especially with this episode. So I have one or two theories and just things to point out that I'll point out as we go through the review. So we start off with the Weeping Angels, in a big field of weeping angels, and the Doctor, she crumbles open out of the shell of being the angel, and she's in a field of angels, and she's real pissed off at them. She says, "You made me one of you. Was it a demonstration of strength?" And they talk about that they are conversion, they transport, and they thought it was funny. And they threatened the Doctor's friends, and then the Doctor has a go at them. And then we're in 1904 Mexico, and Dan falls through the ceiling. I thought that was hilarious. And then Yaz ever so elegantly glides down on the rope, and she looks amazing. And then it's got one of those trap systems in, and it shoots arrows at the wall and Dan says, "I was nearly a kebab." And I just love this because I watch a lot of Blaze channel, and they have loads of mysteries, and they have the ancient aliens thing. And that's where I was a bit disappointed, because they didn't have enough time to do all the codes, to do all the bit about about that they're looking for codes and they got to decipher things, and in this chamber there's things on the wall which I sort of pointed out last week on the preview pictures, that they're pictographs, and in this chamber where they find the pots and stuff, there's actually on the wall there's pictographs of a TARDIS vortex and Time Lords and Daleks. I might insert a little photo from John Bishop's Instagram, which shows some of the actually it's from the bit where it's from the BBC showing how they did the pulley system and lowered him to the floor. You can actually see a bit of the pictographs that were painted on the wall, and they look like Daleks and Time Lords, and there's a TARDIS vortex painted on the wall. And I was a bit disappointed this week because I thought, oh, they're going to cover those, like, why are those on the wall? And then I'm thinking maybe Dan goes back in time, and that's when his plastering abilities as, yay, a plasterer, and he does all this plastering to put all these pictographs of Daleks and Time Lords and the Time Vortex on the wall. I don't know why exactly there would be all that on the wall in the past. I just thought, wondering if Dan has to go back in time and actually do plastering to put all these pictographs and clues there. That would be fun. I'd actually very much enjoy. To be honest, I would just really like to see Dan doing plastering. Like, one of my favourite bits of this episode, which I haven't quite got to yet, was Dan's arm, and all you saw was a zoom in and just Dan bending down his Edwardian clothes, slapping paint on the ground. That was my favourite bit. Like, that's one of my top favourite bits in the whole of Flux. It's the simple things. I just really, I just love that. It's like Daleks and Cyberman. No, he's putting a bit of paint on floor, look. I just loved it. I could watch whole series of Dan just doing the plastering, just like going round in the olden days and doing all his codes and putting plastering up. That would make me happy, especially if the Doctor gives Carvanista something to time travel with, and then he goes round. Oh yeah, he goes round back in time, and he goes round, and it's like a whole show with Dan at Carvanista, and they time travel and they do plastering. Yeah, that's the best. Oh, Russell T Davies, please can I have a spin-off of just Dan and Carvanista just going around plastering walls and painting stuff? I would love that. That would be amazing, especially if they wear historical clothing. I would love that so much. And also, if there's any like official BBC things and they want to do comics about Dan and Carvanista, or anything about Dan and Carvanista being together, I want to work on it, because that would be awesome, because I love them so much. I love all the Edwardian fashion in this episode. I love it. I love it. Okay, calm down now. So where was I? So the pulley system. I thought the pulley system, like Dan plummets down, and then when Jericho wants to come in, Jericho goes flying down, Dan goes flying up. I love that. But then we're back with Yaz, and she's found the pot with the secret code on, and is disappointed that there was no build up to she has to find this pot with the secret code. I was disappointed that they didn't have any. So I'd like a really massive big puzzle book. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That'd be fun. that'd be fun. And do a big massive puzzle book of looking for all the secret codes, not like an adult's version, like not like really easy puzzles, just really hard puzzles they could do one every week. So, and then we're back with the doctor, and she arrives with the Ood, and he's the sweetest Ood I've ever seen. He's so soft spoken, he's so lovely, and he gives the doctor this badge thing, and then she goes into this big console room, and it's got a cherry blossom tree, and it looked gorgeous, and I thought that was a really nice design for a TARDIS console. I'd love the next TARDIS console to have nature and flowers and a jungle and just exotic flowers and parrots, and I'd like the next Doctor to be just in a fursuit, because that was mentioned on Twitter, that what if they just did it in their pink fursuit, and I think that would be amazing and adorable, and I would love that. So she arrives, and then it turns out this is Division. So back in 1904, Constantinople, and they're in a marketplace, and they're getting someone to decipher this clue that they found. But then somebody goes past, somebody's legs run past, and they've lit a bomb. Now, I assume now it's possibly that's one of the Grand Serpent's lackeys, or it could be the Master, or the Grand Serpent could be the Master, but I'm not sure if I'd like that. But anyway, and they have to evacuate. But then they're on the big ship, and I like the ship scenes a lot. I just wish there was more of this stuff. And so they've got December the 5th as the date, so, but they don't know like what time. But it's like, and then there's a knock on the door, but because I assume they've only bought 2 tickets, Dan is a stowaway and he has to hide under the bed. And then this waiter arrives, but he's a bad guy, so Yaz tackles him, and she's awesome. And then says, sit on his legs, and Dan sits on his legs, and he says, tell her what she wants or I'll bite your toes. And I thought, oh my God, Dan's turning into a doggo himself. I thought, Dan's a doggo. I love that. I just want Dan and Carvanista and Dan being a doggo, and I really enjoyed that. And so, but the waiter bad guy, he takes one of them cyanide pills hidden in his tooth, and she pulls his sleeve back, and he's got a snake on his arm, so he's one of the Grand Serpent's lackeys. And then what are they going to do with the body? So they got to shove him under the bed, and then Dad says, but I sleep under the bed. And he's like, he's a doggo. Dan's a doggo, and Carvanista's a doggo, but Dan's turning into a doggo, and I know Dan as a doggo. I just want that. This is something that's got me so passionate about Doctor Who, as Dan Carvanista and Dan being a doggo. I think it's one of my most passionate opinions on Doctor Who. And then we've got the Grand Serpent bit with Unit. And I find it quite funny on Twitter, some people call him Doc Cotton. That's quite funny. So the Grand Serpent is at the beginnings of Unit, and he's disguised as a guy called Prentice. And somebody else on Twitter pointed out that Apprentice could equal Master. And I thought, well, I love Sasha as the Master, but if the Grand Serpent is a different version of the Master, then, but I don't think he's as fun as Sasha Master, but I don't think he is the Master. So this guy Jennings is talking to the Grand Serpent. He's been sent to set up a task force called Unit, and the Grand Serpent is like, really? And then we're back on the ship, and one of the best Phasmin scenes ever. Yaz has an adaptive hologram gadget, and it was set to activate after 2 weeks of them being apart. So obviously it's been ages now, so she's obviously played it loads and loads, and it's so sweet. And the doctor's telling her to figure out the date, and then says, "Just call me Big Ed." And it's like, "I miss you. I sure miss you too." And it's like, oh, and it was such a lovely scene. I really like that. And then Jericho and Dan come back from tipping the bad guy overboard, and Dan's got one of them thermal undershirts, Edwardian thermal undershirts on, and that's the hottest thing I've ever seen. Oh, and John Bishop looks so fit in that. Oh my god, Edwardian clothes. Oh my gosh, so fit, so fit. And then like he sat on bed next to Yaz, said, "We'll find you, you know." I thought, oh, that sounded really nice, and I liked how his voice sounded, and I really liked that bit. But he also looked really fit. And then we're back with the doctor, and she's with that mysterious old lady, and the Ude's doing something techie, and the Orsa says, "Division began on Gallifrey and interfered in certain events. Division is magnificent." So they're interfering, horrible people, the horrible Time Lords from Gallifrey. And then we get the reveal that Division aren't in the universe, they're between universes, which is what I said previously. I said that they would be in the void between the universes. I said that, I guess that one. So in 2020, we're back in 2021, and Carvanista has located Bell's Lipari craft, and he summons it back. And then Bell is just about to get to this bit, which does look a bit like the Gallifrey. I've forgotten what the name of it is. The Citadel, the frame of the Citadel. But I don't know if it's big enough for that. But she's just about to get there, and Vinder's just about to get there when Corvinista hyperjacks the Lipari craft back, which is fair enough for him to do, because he needs it for the bloody shield. Like, Bell, you've got to give it back because we need it for the shield. So, but Vinder appears just as Carvanista hyperjacks the Lipari craft and gets it back. And then Vinder is found a room, and it's got loads of the missing people, and they're with Swarm and Azure. And these like objecty things, and they're objects as space, and Swarm and Azure are time. They do something. So we've got the universe, we see the edge of the universe there, and then the Division craft, which sort of, to me, it looks like, people are saying it looks like that thingy, I've forgotten what it's called, the special thingy what Missy had from the TARDIS. But I think it looks like ear bones. It reminds me of ears and ear bones. It's a craft, and we see it in the void space, and then there's the next universe, and then apparently there's many multiverses, which, so in one multiverse there literally is Dan Corvinista just being happy couple and cuddling all the time, so yay, so that's canon, yeah, and I'm about flying about somewhere, obviously. So that'd be cool if I had a really cool gadget that I could go between multiverses. Yeah. Somebody draw me into the comic with a really cool gadget that takes me between multiverses. I would like that, between universes within the multiverse. That would be awesome. That would be cool. Where was I? So that's the explanation, and then the old lady's Oswak is the conversion allows them to exist. Division is crossing over universes, and she calls the Doctor a virus because the Doctor is hope and inspiration and love, and this also is mean. And then she says, and then the Doctor says, "But who are you? Who even are you?" And then it turns out she's Tech-Twen, the horrible abuser, and I hate her so much. And that is why I'm going to tangent here onto why I'm not sure if I like the Timeless Child storyline, because it's abuse, and it's an abuser abusing a kid. And Doctor Who is meant to be an escape where you feel love and safety, and to have child abuse of the Doctor and this abuse being a big thing in the show, it just doesn't make it feel safe, and it's just not nice, and it just makes it feel like Chris Chibnall is really sadistic and wants fans to feel sad and suffer and not have that escape. And that's why I don't like the Timeless Child storyline overall. But I mean, if they had the storyline without the abuse, and like perhaps they just took a blood sample from the Doctor once they found out she can regenerate, and then went off and did that without abusing her, then maybe that would be interesting. And I do find it interesting that there's possibly other Doctors, but I hate that that's all about this old woman abusing the Doctor, and she's doing it in this episode, and she's horrible. It's like, are we meant? What are we meant to? How are we meant to deal with that? What are we meant to do? What are we meant to do with this? What does Chris Chibnall expect us to do with this information, other than just suffer and just hate it? That's why I don't like the Timeless Child storyline, because it's abuse, and it brings abuse and horribleness into the safety of the world and escapism of Doctor Who, and that's why I don't like it. And then Tech-Twen, she says something which doesn't really make sense with the story, because she's like, so we know that she wiped the Doctor's memories, and then she said, "Oh, I thought you would have recognised me over regenerations. I've got the same eyes." You took her memories away? Why would she remember you? Why would she remember what your eyes look like when you deleted all her memories? Doesn't really make sense. Like, but you delete her memories were all deleted. But then, earlier on in Flux, Swarm said, "Oh, I did such a good job on you," and it's like making it seem like he took away the Doctor's memories. So did Tech-Twen hire Swarm to remove the Doctor's memories and then use that to entrap Swarm? Because that doesn't make sense. And then we're back in 1967 England, and this is the nod with Lethbridge Stewart, and I thought it was good. I thought it was good how they used his voice from one of the other episodes. So the Grand Serpent is Prentice, and then it's "That's our new corporal," and he's like, "Ah." So, and then he finds out that the spare TARDIS, the 13th Doctor's TARDIS, is actually put away in the unit office. So he's like, what? So Jennings is like, "Oh, we have these things. We're doing this tech to detect aliens," and he's got this little detector thing, and he puts it on detect the Grand Serpent, and he starts going off, and then the Grand Serpent, he does this thing where there's a big snake thing, and it comes out inside the officer, and the officer starts bubbling up, and then the big snake thing, it comes out his mouth, and it's like the Demogorgon from Strange Things mixed with Alien, and it's like great. And then the snake thing goes back up the Grand Serpent's trousers. Well, not really. It goes up his back. I thought that was quite funny though. And it dissolves back into the Grand Serpent. So, and then we're back at Division, and the Ood is, his job is to generate Flux to destroy the other universe. So they're making the Flux to destroy the other universe. So and then Tetsuen's got this seed vault, and she's moving into this other universe. If Tetruen is generating the Flux, that it doesn't really explain why she's moving to a different universe. Really, I didn't really understand. But I hated Tetruen. Oh, and then we're back with Binder and the passengers and Swarm, and he gets sucked into a passenger, and inside the entranceway, which is like columns and steps, he meets Di from the first episode, Dan's mate. And now with my Dan and Corvinista shit, I'm in sort of I'm torn, because I know Chris Chibnall's probably just going to put Dan and Di together. They go have a drink now, which would be really boring, to be honest. It's like, but I want him to be with Corvinista to be a couple, which I know it's, although I'd imagine something that Russell T Davies would be up for, but I know that's not going to happen. I'm very I'm trying to have absolutely no expectations of enjoying the last episode, because nobody's going to get what they want. It's going to be just bonkers, and like nobody's going to get exactly what they want. So that's what my perspective on the last episode is. But I'm torn, because I also relate a lot to Di, when she's like hanging out with Dan, and she's like, "So, are you married?" It's like she's like me. She's like, "Oh, there's a fella, I'll have him." So kind of like that, and that she's like up for fight. She sees that Binder's got a space gun, so she's up for like fighting against the fighting her way out of the passenger somehow. I don't know how that works, but I just got a feeling. Oh, I hope that they don't do this. What I hope they don't do is that we see Dan and I walk off into the distance, and then there's an actual Earth dog. That'd be rubbish. That's just rubbish. I just want Dan and Carvanista to time travel together and do plastering, like I said. So back in 1904, Nepal, and Jericho, and they're going up this big mountain, and Jericho's got this awesome pimp coat. It's like with his big coat on. So they find this mystic guy, and he's awesome. He's so fun, and they go they're all wrapped up, and you get all the way up the hill, and he said, "Well, have you got any gossip for me? You got any food? New Sherlock?" And he's like, "I'm really teasing you," and it's really funny. It's really good character. And then he says, he has 3 words, and Jericho's, "Only 3 words? We've come up this mountain for just 3 words." And this mystic says, "Fetch your dog," and Jericho's like, "A dog? What the bloody hell are you going on about now? What the dog?" And then Dan and Yaz are behind you going, "I love this bit, it's my favourite bit." And then there's a map thing. I love when they show a map to show where they're going. That's one of my favourite tropes too. And then that's one of my other favourite time travel tropes, is when they put a message to the future. That's one of my favourite things on time travel things. It's so fun. So they've made it to the Great Wall of China. I really want the conversation that Dan had with Jericho, that Dan and Yaz had with Jericho about carving Easter. I want to know what they told him or how they explained that to him. I want that. And then, so they're in China and they're painting rocks. And there's my favourite frame of the episode, Dan's hand going into the paint bucket, slapping the paint on. My favourite bit. That was my favourite bit ever. And they paint, carving Easter. Dan is here. 1904. That's your human. And I love that Jericho is there and he's saying, well, I hope it's all right. I hope it looks okay. It's like, oh, Jericho. Is that is all hoping it looks all right and everything. Yay. And he had a beard. Oh, Jericho's beard was majestic. I loved it. Did I write that bit? No, I didn't write that bit. But yeah, so carving Easter, he sees the message on his Lipari shirt and he says, what the fuck says that? And he's like, I can't bloody time travel, you idiot. What are you doing? I love carving Easter. And it's like, people said, oh, so all that setup just to say he can't time travel. But I hope that means that he gets a time travel device so he can time travel with Dan. That'd be amazing. Yes. Then we're back with the Doctor and she's talking to the Ood and it's so cute because he's like Drax. He's like Drax on Guardians of the Galaxy. He's like really takes literally says like pull a rabbit out of that and he says I haven't got a hat. He says I haven't got a rabbit and she's like no, it's a metaphor. I love that bit. And then the flux, which is called this compression, is moving in towards Earth. And the Doctor, well, before that, she told the Ood that surely your people are out there, I can save them. And then then the Ood thinks, oh, yeah, let's save me people. And then the Doctor hears this whispering, and then we see it sort of a vision of the creepy house, and then she's moving towards the fob watch. She's like, can you hear that whispering? And then in 1987 England, and the Grand Serpent is trying to be the boss of unit, but one of the other guys said they don't like Grand Princess, so no. And then so he does him in with the snake, Demogorgon snake thing coming out of his mouth. And we're back on the ship, and then the tunnel guy is like tunnels. It just tunnels. It just appears, and then Dan's still in that vest thing. Oh, gorgeous. And Joseph Williams, the tunnel guy, is just there. And then they're in 1904 Liverpool, and they're asking about the tunnels and how do you get down to the tunnels. And then they ask one of the relatives of, I think, Joseph Williamson about the tunnels. So they go into the tunnels, and Dan says he's going to talk to this Joseph, and says one scouser to another, and Yaz is like, you're from Liverpool, Dan? You've never mentioned it. And he says, all right, Sheffield, keep your cutlery on. And then so then Joseph Williamson, he slaps him one, and then Yaz explains to Joseph Williamson what they're doing, like they're looking for all this time traveling stuff. And Joseph Williamson is like, finally, you believe me? Oh, tunnels, there's all this stuff. There's a door here. What's going on? Bloody hell, there's all this space and time. Ah! And then there's a bit where there's the door number 9. Don't go through door number 9, it's deadly. And I thought maybe that was a little nod to Mark Gatiss inside number 9, and because Moffat did a door number 9 joke on his Dracula show too. So I thought maybe that was some sort of little nod to that. But it could be door number 9 could be the door onto Carvanista's ship, because like as soon as you open the door, he goes pew pew with his big stick thing, and that's what Joseph Williamson was going on about. He's like, death rays. But the more likely explanation is that's where the Daleks are, possibly. But it would be funny if that was the door to Carvanista's ship, and then Dad could just board the ship and get a cuddle. Oh. And then we're back with the Doctor, and turns out the Doctor's stolen memories are in this fob watch, and Tectwen is offering the Doctor a deal. And she said, have your memories back and travel with me, or go and save Earth, but you won't get your memories. She's horrible. I hate her. So, and the Doctor's like, and then 2017, and it's the Grand Serpent is talking to Kate Stewart, and then she's like standing up to him, and she's like, I know who you are. I'll get you, and I'll get a favour from someone you don't want to argue with. And everybody said, oh, she means 12. What if she just means Osgood? What if she's like really hard to argue with Osgood? So, and then she does this like, I am the head of unit. And then she goes home, and her house is blown up, so she has to call Osgood and says, Osgood, I'm going dark. And that's from like when we heard about unit being shut down. And then so Carvanista Carvanista is with Belle on that early par ship, and I've got my notes all mixed up here. But he has to fight Belle and said, pew, pew, and said, come out, coward. And Belle's like, I'm no coward. So they find each other, and then they're talking, and then there's a thud on the ship. Like, somebody's boarded the ship. What's going on? It's like, And Joseph Williams is like, all these doors. And then the Grand Serpent is liaising with Centaurians, and then the Centaurians burst into the tunnels, and then Swarm and Shaw Division, and they've come for revenge on Division, and Swarm gets Tectwen and is like, yes, get in, Swarm, thank you, Swarm, that's brilliant. But I've got a feeling Chris Chibnall's going to have some sort of get out clause for that, which would be really annoying. And then it's all happening all at once, and then we see, and the next time Taylor, we see Daleks and Cybermen and Centaurians, and I'm just really worried he's over-egged the pudding. Is really worried there's far too many eggs for to resolve in an hour. And I also like, why is Danvanista howling? Like, ow! Ow! Like, no, it's like, then I thought, just before filming this, I had a thought that, what if the Centaurans go down and they do all that, we will have your protection, and then the Lupari fleet, Danvanista does his howl, and that's the battle cry for the Lupari doggos to actually come down to earth and be like the doggo for each human, and then they could have a big battle scene with the humans. There's my doggo, my human, but eventually they pull through and they win. But I don't think the Tribunal's doing that. I don't think anybody would like my ideas, especially not. Let's just go see Dan and Danvanista time traveling doing plastering work. I don't think anybody would like to see that, but I want to see it. They could both dress up in period clothing and all over the world and all different times and spaces do plastering work and painting. I think that would be amazeballs. So I give this episode a whole 10 out of 10 because it's exciting, and I still wanted more of the adventures, especially with all the decoding, all the different codes and secret messages and all that stuff. I wanted more of that, but I'm really nervous now about the last episode, and I'm not expecting that I'll get what I personally would like, which is Dan Danvanista to time traveling plastering. But I'm nervous. Oh my gosh, I hope we get a Dan and Danvanista reunion hug, a Belle and Vinda love reunion hug thing, and a Yaz and the Doctor reunion hug. That would be nice. Oh, but I'm really nervous. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Here are my notes from the episode, and yay! Any other theories I have? No. Oh, I'm excited. Oh. Hope you have enjoyed this review, and thank you for watching. Yay!